The timer is ticking down for the FOMC meeting. I would expect further volatility if this one thing happens, which we're going to dive into. We need to talk about WorldCoin. Huge fear in the market around this, as well as what Elon Musk is doing with X.com. So we'll dive into that. Bit of housekeeping. We are at block height 800,256 local time here, 7:27 a.m. 3,416 sats per USD. I just want to show you this here. The next block halving, 800,040. Only less than 40,000 blocks to go. Very exciting. The countdown is on. If we can get rid of this search here, you can see the market is pretty sideways territory, 1.22 trillion. Little bit of red, little bit of green. I'll show you the banter bubbles. That'll come up better. No idea what this ad is. The fastest way to crypto. Bitcoin, not crypto in my opinion. Anyway, Bitcoin is sitting at $29,201. In the last 24 hours, we've had a low of 29,062 and a high 29,304. Very tight consolidation there. The market is getting ready to see what happens tomorrow with that FOMC meeting. We're getting a rate hike. That's priced in. Depends on what Jerome Powell says is where the volatility goes. And we'll talk about that as we get up to it. Ethereum 1857, up 0.5%. Last 24 hours, a low of 1845, high of 1865. It is winding up. It's actually stair-stepping up nice and healthy there. If these banter bubbles will load for us, it already pops the blue bubble this morning. I believe it's like 50K or something you can win. Definitely not happening there. Doge up 9.68%. Obviously, Doge is pumping because of Elon Musk, because of X, the everything cap. We are going to get into what Elon Musk has planned, what he's been saying. I've got a video coming up. I've actually got two videos to show you through this video here that you're watching. Get rid of this one. Now, FedWatch tool, 20 hours, 30 minutes, and we don't need to count the seconds down. You can see, come on here, baby. 98.9% chance we are going to get a 25 basis point hike. 1.1% that we get a 50 basis point hike. Not going to happen here. I found this really interesting on the dot plot. You can see over time, over the next couple of years where people are expecting in the longer run back down to the 3%. 24, kind of where we are now, and then most of the markets pricing in a full percentage drop next year. We'll see what plays out. This will be very interesting to have a look at tomorrow after the FOMC meeting and see how much it changes. So, talking about the FOMC meeting, what's going on, why we can see further volatility in the coming days ahead. The whole market, everybody is priced in, we know we're getting a rate hike. That's not the issue here. It's what does Powell say going forward? So Powell keeping the door open for rate hikes beyond July. 25 basis point rate increase on Wednesday is a foregone conclusion. Let's just say if it doesn't happen, the markets pop. I'm not saying that will happen, but say they don't raise interest rates, the market's going to absolutely explode. Very much a zero possibility of that happening. But anyway, whether the increase will mark that. So what people want to know is whether this increase will mark the end of a tightening cycle that began 16 months ago and was partly responsible for last year's crypto market crash. I think the crash of the banks. As well, looking at the Fed summary of economic projections from June, the median forecast among Fed officials indicated 2 more 25 basis point hikes would occur by year end. But the markets haven't fully bought onto this view and continue to imply that 1 hike is more likely than 2. So if the market's not pricing in 2 hikes, and Jerome Powell tomorrow indicates that there's a further one coming, we are going to see a lot of volatility, and it is going to whipsaw. It's going to take out the longs. It's going to take out the shorts. It does mean suggestions of more rate hikes beyond June may see investors take some risk off the table, putting downward pressure on risk assets, including cryptocurrencies. 25 basis point Interest rate hike is fully expected by the market, but we will be watching the language in the FOMC statement and the subsequent Powell press conference, where a hawkish tone, leaving the doors open to a further rate hike this year, may put further downward pressure on the markets. Be aware that could happen. It is what it is. Just expect it and look long term. Short term, it's all noise, yeah? So rate hikes loom as FOMC begins latest monetary policy deliberations. The US central bank has been telegraphing its intent to renew rate hikes for weeks. They haven't kept anything under wraps. He's actually been doing what he's been saying at least the last couple of months. You know, they did say they'd keep interest rates at zero for years to come, and then they've gone up the fastest in history. But lately he's been consistent with his message, which is good to see out of someone like Jerome Powell. We are looking at, we saw earlier it's higher than 98% probability, another quarter point increase that would raise the federal funds rate to a range of 525 to 550 basis points, highest level in roughly 17 years. In assessing the appropriate stance of monetary policy, the committee will continue to monitor the implications of incoming information for the economic outlook. FOMC said the committee would be prepared to adjust the stance of monetary policy as appropriate if risks emerge that can impede the attainment of the committee's goals. A couple of things in here, I won't break it all down. This is how messed up the system is. And then I want to show you a video about WorldCoin, which is absolutely messed up. Anyway, this is crazy. Like, this is insanity. Listen to this. Jobless claims. Last week's jobless claims turned for the worse last week, at least for analysts and investors hoping for signs the job market would cool. The 228,000 first-time jobless claims for the week ending July 15 were about 9,000 fewer than the previous week and lower than expectations. So less people filed for unemployment, first-time unemployment, and the market sees it as a bad thing. The fiat system is absolutely messed up. That's why I opt out with Bitcoin. That's crazy, absolutely crazy. I'll show you the video first. I can't play the audio on it because the video is going to get shut down. But you have to see this if you haven't already. So this is WorldCoin. It's this crypto token, and it's like something out of a Black Mirror episode. Absolutely messed up. It's looking for your biometric data. You hand over all your biometric data and you get a couple of coins for free out of it. And so that's one issue. You know, we all use iPhones, computers, there's CCTV absolutely everywhere. Apple Pay when we log in, fingerprint ID with certain things. So we give away a lot of biometric data already. But something like this, I think it's a little bit more insidious than that. So we've got an article to get into. We do see the UK is starting to make inquiries into it as well. But giving your biometric data away to a private company that's manipulating, that's holding back like 99% of the circulating supply is a little bit scary. So World Token slumps amid crypto community unease. Concerns about privacy, security, and reported connections to Sam Bankman-Fried and Three Arrows Capital have raised eyebrows in the crypto community. Well, links to 3AC and SBF. Turn away and run. And this is why Bitcoin is not crypto. WorldCoin Identity Verification Project. The WorldCoin token climbed as high as $3.58 in crypto exchanges yesterday before slumping to $1.92 overnight before rebounding. The slide is a reflection of the crypto community's disquiet about the project, which uses a hardware unit known as an orb to identify individuals and prove they are human by scanning their irises, being able to verify a person in a way that will be a key part of a new digital economy in an era where artificial intelligence, AI, is integrated into society, according to the company. Users verified by the orb can claim wild tokens on the project's app where regulations allow. Listen to this. Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin expressed his concerns about possible abuses of the system in a blog post yesterday, including issues around privacy, centralization, and security. Little bit rich coming from Vitalik Buterin, especially in regards to the centralization. Ethereum is definitely not decentralized. I hope nobody believes that anymore. They've changed the monetary unit, the way that their tokenomics are 8 times since inception. Bitcoin has not been changed. So centralization exists, but if Vitalik, the head of a centralized entity, is saying there's issues around privacy, centralization, security, he's aware of them, he's doing them himself, so maybe take heed. And Vitalik, I always give him credit. Absolutely a brilliant, amazing, smart man. I just don't agree with what he's doing. Anyway, most alarming to me is how the WorldCoin team has boasted about how many users they have, when in reality they've been exploiting people in developing countries. This was by Zach ZBT. There was a firm deployed deceptive marketing practices, collected more personal data than acknowledged, and failed to obtain meaningful, informed consent. WorldCoin received investment from SBF, the founder and CEO of crypto exchange FTX, Scary, co-founder of bankrupt Singapore hedge fund 3AC, indicated that his firm had also invested in the project. WorldCoin taking a page out of SBF Solana Eco Playbook, launching and pumping a micro-cap shitcoin with 1% of total supply and circulation. That's where the problem is, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody gets in, they hand over their biometric data. There's only 1% circulating. Price absolutely pumps, then it dumps. These guys are holding, and we'll talk about it as well. At launch and for 15 years, a total 10 billion world will be supplied, but only 143 million world will be circulating at launch, WorldCoin said in its white paper. Tokens allotted to investors and the development team are locked for a year. Year's not very long. It seems like a long time, but it is really not a long time. Especially with these big players, we're going to be right in the middle of the bull run, straight after the halving. So the price, the timing is going to be absolutely perfect. People are going to get excited. A lot of people, their marketing is going to ramp up more and more and more. And then it's going to get dumped on everyone, and you've handed over all your data for nothing. Be aware, it's your choice. It's your money, your choice. You do whatever you want. WorldCoin has over 2 million orb verified users according to its website. I can promise you I will not be one of those people. We watched that insidious video. So, UK Information Commission to make inquiries about WorldCoin, and then we're going to dive into Elon Musk as well. I just want to say I will be going away to the Great Barrier Reef for the next week. So I've lined up these amazing podcasts and interviews. The first video to drop will be with Jake Woodhouse, the Bitcoin advisor. Followed that, then we'll have Rob Warren, who is the manager of mining operations for Riot, the world's largest Bitcoin mining company, publicly traded company. They're fascinating interviews, those two there. I've got one from yesterday with Luke Mikic. Oh, wow, that was a deep, amazing, intense conversation. Luke was talking about a $65 million Bitcoin. And he has the maths for it. And he's got conviction in a $65 million Bitcoin. Hopium or not, that's up to you to decide when you see that video. As well as that, today, in a few hours, I'm interviewing this guy, the author of Bitcoin Evangelism. Like, my favorite things in life are reading and Bitcoin and the Reef. So I get to do all of those. Like, tomorrow I'll be at the Reef, reading more Bitcoin books. I've got a stack of Bitcoin books, 3 to be precise, to be able to read on the holidays. But today I get to interview the author and be able to share that journey there. It's going to be a lot of fun. When I went through this book the first time, I listened to it on audio, or on Audible to be precise. And then I read it on Kindle because I was waiting for this to arrive, and it arrived, and I didn't realize how thick it was. If you have read, give me a sec. Like, if you've read the Bitcoin Standard, it's thicker. It's thicker than the Bitcoin Standard. That's a big book. Principles of economics is a little bit thicker than this one, but absolutely insane. So look forward to all those videos dropping as well. I know Brown and Rudnick, the law firm, is editing and tidying up those videos that I did with Haley Lennon. That video is already dropped if you're looking for an informed podcast where crypto regulation is going. Ali, I see you in the chat as well. Let's decouple from these FOMC meetings already. They are getting boring, lol, by the way. When are they sacking Gary Gensler? Congress trying to pass something now for years. Have a good night, by the way. Loved your videos. Ali, always appreciate you being in the comments. Gary Gensler, I don't know if he will get sacked. Now, I sort of thought it would happen, but I think they want him there. And he's just a puppet. He's easy to control, so they're just going to let him do what they're going to let him be the face, and they're going to pull the strings behind it. I think he's a very spineless man, and they are controlling what he says and does. That's my thoughts on him. And Bitcoin, in regards to decoupling, we have over the last 90 days had less and less correlation. I do believe, though, if there's a strong possibility of further interest rate hikes, especially in September, we're going to couple with the rest of the market again, and there will be huge volatility. So in regards back to WorldCoin, they're saying the firm has claimed it complies very, very local and very specific rules and regulations in each of the markets where there's an orb. We need to have a clear lawful basis to process personal data where they are relying on consent. This needs to be freely given and capable of being withdrawn without detriment. That's the biggest concern that I would have. Okay, you give it over. That's fine. It's your choice. But can you get it back? Can you wipe it off the system? Here in Australia, it's very hard if you give your information, especially to a government entity, to be able to claim that biometric data back, or your voice print, which the Australian Taxation Office is doing, is they just read your voice and you use that to be able to sign in and out. Absolutely scary stuff. So the WorldCoin Foundation adheres to strict privacy guidelines and are continuing to assess local laws and regulations to ensure compliance. With regards to GDPR, WorldCoin is fully compliant with all laws and regulations governing biometric data collection and data transfer, including Europe's General Data Protection Regulation. We'll see how this unpacks going forward, if it gets exploited, what government entities are involved with this. Obviously, the founder of OpenAI, ChatGPT, is the person behind WorldCoin as well. Just keep that in mind. In regards to X.com, a lot of people are speculating that. First, let's watch a real quick video and then we'll come back to this. Probably make a little bit more sense. I'll bring Elon Musk up, just explaining
a lot of great
everything.
Things that come out. Obviously, payments down the road, maybe later this year, and improving the direct message stuff. Obviously, enabling full encryption and video and voice calls, and just basically solving, like, basically, if there's something you want to do, you can do it on this sort of, X everything app, or you can leave easily and do it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Okay, couple of things there. So payment app, that's good. What payment rails is he going to use? He is definitely a massive advocate for Dogecoin. So Doge is looking like a shoo-in. That's obviously why it's up 10% today. In regards to that, is he going to integrate Bitcoin? Is he going to integrate Lightning? I dare say he will. Will it happen straight away? Maybe it'll take a little bit longer. But Elon Musk is a Bitcoin advocate. We saw that he put it into the code base for Tesla the other day. It looks like it's been pulled back out as well. But it's just easy enough for them to be able to put it back in there as well. Baseline Benny is saying sack Gary. Obviously that trends all the time. It'd be nice to get rid of the bastard, but I think he's like a cockroach, very hard to kill. So payment rails, Doge, that's going to happen. As well as that, we are seeing the blue check mark, proof of humanity. I think that's a little bit better than scanning your iris. I'd rather pay $7 a month. I resisted for so long, but I had to get verified to be able to reach out to these amazing people that we're bringing on as podcast guests, the biggest, brightest minds within Bitcoin. Anyway, great for Doge, crypto in general. If he integrates just Doge, everything's going to pump anyway. We showed you a video 2 days ago in regards to Elon Musk saying, we just need to make this like WeChat. We just need to copy WeChat, make a profit. That's where he's heading in regards to that. Elon Musk's brazen attempt to refashion Twitter into a new, broader service called X will apparently turn the iconic social media app into a platform for making payments, better communication, like you were saying there, as well. So it's pretty exciting. Let's dive into a few more things of what he had to say. I like Elon. Like, I really do like Elon Musk. I think he's trying to do the right thing. Probably when you get to that echelon of the elite, so much power, what they think is normal and what we think is normal, and what control they're willing to have over us and what we're willing to give, that line gets a little bit blurry. So just be aware of that. I do like that he did say, if you want, you can leave. At least that's the messaging that's been put out there, and saying, no, once you're here, you're stuck. It'd be nice to know what he's thinking in reality behind the scenes. But I like Elon, everything that I've seen of the man. And an amazing biography written about Elon as well. Elon Musk says X will offer an entire financial world in the coming months. In light of Twitter's rebranding, Elon Musk says users can expect to conduct their entire financial world via the X platform in the coming months. It's going to happen slowly, then suddenly. In an interview, Musk said that if executed correctly, X has the potential to encompass half of the global financial system. This guy is absolutely ambitious, but you can see he's sending rockets into space. He's sending bloody Teslas into space and rockets. He's got more satellites in space than the rest of the world combined. The most successful selling EV, the founder of PayPal. Elon Musk is an absolute genius. So if he's saying something, X has the potential to encompass half of the global financial system. It's possible. With plans for banking, payments, and more, some have likened the potential of the X app to akin to China's WeChat. In April, he briefly changed Twitter's logo to Doge. Twitter would introduce a new feature in partnership. Then obviously this came out with eToro. It allows users to trade crypto and stocks on the platform. Shortly after the rebrand, users noticed the Doge symbol had been added to Musk's profile, which sparked rumors among the crypto community of a potential Dogecoin integration for payments on the platform. If it didn't happen, would be the most surprising thing. Like, that would be shocking for him to integrate Doge. He accepts Doge for Teslas. He's going to accept it on Twitter. Like, it makes absolutely no sense to think that he won't do that. Some in the community called the decision insane in regards to rebranding, and they'd still call the platform by its old name, while others suggested keeping the Twitter name and using X as a wallet for the platform. What I'd like to know is, what are your thoughts in regards to that? Are you going to call it Twitter? Are you going to call it X? Like, hey, honey, what are you doing? I'm just up to a little bit of Xing. I don't know. I don't know how well that's going to sit with your better half in that situation. So I'd like to know in the comments below, and maybe hit subscribe while you're there. You're going to get all those awesome podcasts next few days. Now, in regards to podcasts, I said I interviewed Rob Warren, the manager of mining operations for Riot. Now, Riot has come under scrutiny in regards to mining, energy use, as always. It's just this ongoing debate. Bitcoin miners are bad, they're good, energy consumption's bad. Everything uses energy, ladies and gentlemen. It's a stupid debate. But let's get into it and see what both sides of the argument are doing, because that's fair. This is the news with the fast and the fair facts. So, Riot Platform's at the heart of Texas debate over Bitcoin mining's effect on the grid. The world's biggest Bitcoin mine has drawn some local residents concerned with Bitcoin's community impact. These attributes make it a good place to experiment with integration of Bitcoin mining into power grids. So to be able to see how you can ramp up and ramp down the amount of electricity that the whole facility is using, which stabilizes the load on it's called ERCOT there. That's their local grid operator, the Electricity Reliability Council of Texas. They're the grid operator, but the mining operations can switch on or switch off the machines, which helps balance the load, especially in peak demand as well. Benny, a part of that comment's cut out, so I can't read all of it. Anyway, these incentives, which come in the form of various demand response programs, have come under fire from local residents and legislators. They say the state is subsidizing an industry that is harmful to the environment and local communities. This argument is not going to go away. They don't talk about how Bitcoin uses 60% renewable energy over the entire network, more so than any other industry on the face of the planet. Never gets mentioned. Just that it's bad for the environment and local communities. In fact, it's doing the opposite. Anyway, Ryder's developing 2 sites in Texas, in Navarro and Milan counties, with a total energy capacity of 1.7 gigawatt. The Navarro, my apologies if I'm butchering that name there, no disrespect intended, will be the biggest Bitcoin mine in the world, the company claims. They're already the biggest Bitcoin mining operation. So for local resident Jackie, Ryder's taken advantage of state incentives for its own profit, leaving citizens to foot the bill. Now, the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle, yeah? When energy demand and prices spike, the cost of the energy outweighs the price of rights staying in operation, so they're going to shut down anyway. That's the argument that Sawicki, I chose to go with their first name, Jackie, because Sawicki is a funny thing to say, and I knew I'd butcher that one as well. So Jackie was saying, because they get incentivized and they get a lot of money back to be able to switch off. But Jackie makes a good point. If the costs get too high, they're going to shut down anyway. But the reason why they shut down and they get that incentive back is because they're consistently buying energy and they're going to continue to pay for it for years and years and years. So they've got long-term agreements in place. Rob really goes into this, breaks it down. Like, I know nothing about Bitcoin mining. I just find it absolutely fascinating. It's one of the most amazing conversations I've ever had. So subscribe, and that will be coming out probably in 2 days' time after the Jake Woodhouse one. Okay. So it's not a universal law view. Marathon Holdings thinks miners are actually contributing to grid development and stability, especially in regards to sustainable energy use. That's where Bitcoin mining is absolutely fantastic. At nighttime, like we look over at these islands here, there's 3 islands like there, but just like one main big one, and there's a couple more over that way. Anyway, in regards to one of these islands, they have a whole lot of windmills there, and they just spin and they go nowhere. And they're not very energy efficient. They're actually not windmills, they're turbines. So with the turbine, they need to be plugged into the grid to be able to ramp it up before they start spinning and then start generating their own energy as well. So Bitcoin mining can take that load and use that load all the time as well. Otherwise they're a little bit intermittent, and you need to have cold, like we use coal powered power stations here. Is that how you'd say it? Coal powered or coal fired power stations maybe? So when demand for energy is low, Bitcoin miners can act as a base load of consumption that will keep money flowing into wind and solar energy producers. Good thing there. Wind, there should be on my Twitter at SeanClark911. I hope I retweeted it. I'll relook for it. An Australian lady, she used to work in Parliament, and she is in charge of putting in the sustainable guidelines for especially wind turbines and stuff. And she was just saying how deceptive that whole system is and how bad it is for the farmers, where they put these wind turbines, they lease the land. I think the landholder gets about $12,000 per wind turbine, where the people installing the turbine get about $680,000, somewhere around there, like $680,000 or $980,000, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. The farmer's getting tens of thousands of dollars per turbine. Farmer's responsible for all the liability that goes with it. for one thing, for the cost of repair if they catch on fire. If they catch on fire and then burn their neighbor's house down, that's on the farmer, not on the people that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars of profit for it. It's insane. The whole thing's an absolute farce. They're really not good for the environment. What goes into them, especially into the blades and stuff, when they need to pull them down, they dump them, really bad for the environment. I'm all for sustainable energy. And I think Bitcoin is helping the world become more sustainable. We just need to know at the moment the technology currently is not sustainable, but baby steps, we are heading in the right direction. It's just going to take a little bit longer. And this debate in the meantime is going to continue to rage on. So with mining, they do help out with employment contributions as well. More than just tax revenue, Bitcoin miners bring precious jobs to undeveloped communities, the industry argues. Right as the top employer in Milan country and #1 taxpayer in the school district, according to the firm. They're saying it's not that many jobs. It's more jobs than if they weren't there. And then all the workers are paying tax as well, even if the large company, that's how it works in Australia. Anyway, there's still company taxes, but if a large company is employing a lot of people, all those workers are paying a large amount of tax. So tax does go back in, more money goes back in to the local environment, that local community. All those workers are then spending more money, they have more discretionary income. Environmental concerns, that's that same debate. Even if Riot used 100% renewable energy, we will never divest from fossil fuels. We'll never transition to renewables as long as the Bitcoin blockchain is being used at scale, because its hash rate and therefore energy consumption is consistently growing by design. Bitcoin uses so little of the world's energy as a percentage. Is it going to keep going up? Yes. Is it going to the cheapest energy? Yes. Volcanoes we're looking at, hydroelectric we're looking at, solar we're looking at. Like, these things are already happening. It's already moving there. But this debate is going to continue to keep being hashed out over and over. So Wiki, a self-proclaimed hippie and environmentalist, remains unconvinced. She argues that Bitcoin is a vehicle for fraud and crime and that its electricity use is ultimately wasteful. All this comes down to is a lack of understanding of what Bitcoin's doing. If it is there to replace the traditional financial system, to be a store of value, to be immutable where you can't change it, a time chain, a proof chain, it is going to require electricity. Where that electricity comes from over time is becoming from more and more sustainable sources. Yeah, and we jumped in to Elon Musk. And I just want to show you this here, and this is something to be aware of within crypto. We've seen the same thing with WorldCoin, where the investors, the team, they hold a lot of funds. It's pre-mined. Bitcoin wasn't pre-mined. It was fair from the start. Everyone had to put in the work to be able to mine the Bitcoin. Firms like Maker or firms like A16Z, where they've jumped in before the pre-sale even, they've gotten a large allocation of tokens that they can dump on, you know, and that floor's already set. And then when they come on for a pre-sale, that's above what the floor is as well. Still money to be made if you want to play that game, but realize that there's bigger fish playing the game behind it. The way that I think about crypto, the face of it is young people having a whole lot of fun. And then behind it, there's the serious players that are just ready to go in to execute, to sniper, and absolutely destroy you. To go in there, it is player versus player, and these guys are not going to lose against retail, ever. So venture capital firm A16Z unloads 7 million of Maker tokens as the price soars. Couple of things here that I want to point out. The venture capital firm was one of the largest investors in MakerDAO, purchasing 6% of Maker's supply for 15 mil in September 2018. They had sold about 7 million in the last week. We saw that. And then they're still holding about 14 million worth of Maker at the moment. And they're holding 1.3%. So if they were to sell all of that, they're up $7 million. They'll probably offload, you know, when it gets to their next price target as well. But they've already claimed back 50% of their initial investment. there to sell it all, they'd be up quite a lot. Be aware that's the game that's being played. We'll see you on the next video. Make sure you hit subscribe. I will be away, but those videos are going to be absolutely amazing. Really spent a lot of time researching these people, and such a pleasure to be able to take the time to have an in-depth conversation with them. So look forward to talking when we get back, but until then, have fun, be blessed.